Hi and welcome back to another AS Media Studies tutorial. Moving on to the next major issue. This is to look at the technologies that have been introduced in recent years at the levels of production, distribution, marketing and exchange. And it's fair to say that this area, along with convergence, in the last couple of years has been a favourite stop-off point for the exam questions, because there's so much to discuss essentially. What we're looking at now is a new phase really in how we consume media. And the main difference being that the audience now has an ability to interact with the films that they see. So, for instance, using that kind of digital technology that allows you to put extracts on YouTube and put new soundtracks over them, you make answering videos. This level of interaction, of communication, has only been made possible by Web 2.0, which we're going to talk about in more detail shortly. But film studios can also make films using CGI and green screen and other special effects that were impossible to make only a few years ago. And it's this level of institutional usage, of course, which has always really driven progress and advancement in media. The ways of filming and editing completely changed. We have digital film cameras, we have non-linear editing software that anybody can now have on their laptop. Cinemas, the majority of which now have switched over to digital projection, which of course limits this need to physically carry a film product to a cinema. Distributors now are able to market their films using the latest software. You design high concept film posters. Look at how sophisticated film posters often look now compared to what they did even 20 years ago. Likewise, trailers. They can use phone apps, various online marketing ideas like Facebook, just to get their product out there, to get this, a real high visibility for their product, and to enable them to locate that target audience and focus on them more precisely. However, there are issues surrounding the use of technology now, of course. File sharing and piracy are major problems now, because we've got so much software that exists that can strip any sort of protective encryption off a DVD. And Web 2.0 enables people just to make and share copies of films so easily. One way in which film companies are trying to get around this is by releasing films soon after theatrical releases, selling them on demand, premium TV channels and downloads. And obviously DVDs come out so much more quickly now than VHSs ever did. The studios used to have a deal in days gone by where a film couldn't even make it on the television until I think it was something like 5 years after it had been released in the cinema. It was ludicrous. However, US and UK cinema chains, they're not happy about these kind of developments, because they've made a huge amount of investment in this digital equipment, projectors and sound equipment. And of course the thing about computer technology, digital technology, is that it has this, what we could call, built-in obsolescence. We know that the technology will die at some point in the foreseeable future. It will be superseded. So these massive investments that are being made now for the exhibitors particularly in trying to re-kit cinema auditoriums, this isn't the end of it. The equipment that they've had in there, for years and years and years and years and years, the new equipment that they're bringing in is not going to last even a fraction of as long as that did. Okay, so moving on to our fourth major issue, and this is about the significance of proliferation in hardware and content for institutions and audiences. So what we're really talking about is the increase in filmmaking equipment and the films themselves. So what we're really talking about here is that every man and his dog has this software in a computer. Every man and his dog has a digital camera or access to the kind of camera that you could realistically shoot a film on and then have it projected in a cinema. Some home software even allows people to, do pretty effective renderings of CGI. But when it comes to the institutions, of course, major CGI movies, the blockbuster kind of action movie, a rebirth of an old technology, somehow this time apparently being done right. though some would still claim that it's merely a gimmick. So these are all part of current trends essentially, but we need to wonder about how significant this is for any of the institutions that you may have looked at. So whether it's a small British independent or an organisation like Universal with the might of a multinational conglomerate behind it, are they still able to be successful without using these technologies? Making films with genres that don't need the latest breakthroughs? It's questionable. There's something in there for everyone. You can buy a 7D camera for about £1,500 and you can shoot an outstanding looking film on it. Some feature films are already being shot on it, commercials certainly, or as are pop videos. So it's a very affordable piece of home kit that could open up a whole new world of creativity to you. What's worth your while doing for your own research to back up your knowledge of this is to look at your case studies and to consider what kind of cameras they may have used. Look into the background of it, look into what special effects were used, what kind of editing software, how they went to work on creating their posters. Did they use digital distribution methods to get their film out there? How did these things help or hinder them? This is really what this area is going to be asking you, and these are things that you will need to consider for the exam. Okay, thanks for listening. Please check back for any upcoming tutorials.